Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip,
And I'm CJ.
and it is Friday in the Riv.
Do you
And
have an extended delay on your end? Do
yeah,
you have an extended delay on your end? Because we have
I'm
like,
still having all kinds of problems with my
yeah,
Wi-Fi. I'm getting all kinds of noise lines on my TV. I'm getting noise lines on this now because they've been. I've been fighting with Xfinity for a week, and a whole bunch of other people have. They've been on and off for over a week now, working on lines. I'm losing internet. I'm losing TV. I can't watch TV. I'm getting all kinds of noise lines in there. I'm paying a big amount of money for stuff I can't use. So yeah, I got right now you're blinking in and out. I'm getting lines across the bottom and every other thing. So I don't know if you
well, you're
can see
coming
it.
through crystal clear. You're coming through
Yeah.
crystal clear,
Well,
sir.
on my Wi-Fi, all I see is lines going across, and we're blinking in and out. So I apologize to our viewers because it's hard to keep up because I don't know what you're seeing. I can only see what I'm seeing. But I guess we got a video from one of our contributors of Paul again creating his own fantasy world, his alternate universe about reality, about picking up private trash, which before we run it, I'll remind everybody is against the law. The law that Paul Coogan said he always abides by. But here's the Paul Coogan excuse. If you want to run it, CJ, if you got it
Yep.
queued up.
This video is from an interview from Mike Sylvia from Florida Reporter, and that aired on Facebook. And it was sent to us by one of our viewers. Here you go.
Received a letter from the ethics committee on what we had to do. I filed it. At first, I didn't even have to file, but I wanted people to know that I was disclosing it. I'm not going to try to hide anything. And Steve also filed. So we complied with the ethics committee's requirements, and going forward, I don't see a problem. Way back in the day, there was a mayor that appointed his brother the head of the housing authority. If you work hard because you're related to me, you shouldn't be penalized. If you don't work hard and you're related to me, you should be treated like everyone else. And that's how I look at it. I hope I made the right decision, and I'm hoping that we get some fresh air in the housing authority, and things work out for Mary and things work out for Steve.
Yeah, and only one city councilor voted against it, so clearly the city council supported your decision.
Yeah,
All right, let me take a few questions because this is about, I think, residents asking you questions. So let's just pull up one here. So Nelson asked, many months back, the council sent communication to your office, stop picking up private trash. They sent letter of business to costing taxpayers a substantial amount of money. That should be recovered. When are you going to stop picking up private business trash? I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with that, but are you?
Yes, I am. So again, we're in the middle of negotiating with our pickup company, EZ. We're in negotiations with our point of where we send our recycling, Republic. We actually did an analysis of the weight that we pick up from these private businesses. My question is not so much the weight, because there's not a lot of money there, Mike. We looked at it. It's not as much money as we were originally told. When we literally weighed the totes, numbered them, put barcodes on them, and tried to figure out exactly how much trash we were picking up from these private companies. It's not as much as you think, but it seems like where we are getting hit from the privates is the recycling. And that's a problem that we're going to have to deal with. Now, do remember that EZ, when they got the contract 4 or 5 years ago, I think Jazel was the mayor, they listed companies in there that they would pick the trash up from for free. So this was literally codified in a contract that you would pick up Mike Sylvia's trash. So that's what we've been following. Regretfully, it's expanded to other businesses also. So we're looking at it. As you can tell, I'm pretty familiar with it. We try to meet once a week about it, and we do meet with our carriers, Republic and Easy. And we do have some work we're working on right now to try to improve efficiencies in trash and lower cost.
Does City of Fall River make money on recyclables? I know when I interviewed Mayor Mitchell, I think they made money on the cardboard and I think glass and like precious metals.
Well, we tried a pilot program, Mike, where we were picking up cardboard. In one section of the city, it did well. In the other section, not so much. It's actually not making money. You may be able to break even if you can bring enough of it in, because cardboard is still a commodity that has little value. And that's where we stand. But we're looking at everything. Again, with our ARPA money, we're looking to put some into Lewiston Street, which is where our transfer station is, which is literally nothing more now than dump a truck, fill another one. So we're trying to find ways to pull out the items of value out of our recycling, at the same time minimize costs for the residents. It's a tremendous challenge. And trash, when you look at, Mayor Mitchell, he still has a landfill over there. I think he's only paying $30 a ton. Or 40, we're paying 110, so it's apples and oranges. And we'd love to have his setup, but it's just not for us.
Well, here we go again. What Paul knows about reality, you could put in a thimble and have enough to stick a milkshake in there. Okay? This is absolute bullshit. Oh, he pulled out a big word. I like it. Codified. It's been codified in a contract. I hate to tell you this, Paul. You can tell the only contract you ever negotiated is how much money they're going to give you before they get a pay raise. You can't put something in a contract that violates the law. Okay? You can't do it. We're going to settle a contract with the police department that said they can commit murder? Is that going to be legal? That's ridiculous. It's codified. Listen, Jazel had a list of specific companies that he did, which was illegal. And I said that from the get-go. There should have been nobody with their trash picked up. Nobody. But you've expanded on that. We have now over 300, and we were in the 200s. So you not only have allowed it to continue illegally, you have added to that list. And it's got nothing to do with you got to negotiate. You don't have to negotiate shit. You send them a letter, which you already did, give them 30 days to get their own carrier and cut them off. And I don't care if it doesn't cost that much. It costs. It costs. You're the guy that's looking for nickels and dimes. You're the guy that's trying to take money out of the retirement system right now. Take it away out of our portfolio and keep it for yourself, and that's a drop in the bucket in your budget. That's how desperate you are. You are a hypocrite, a typical politician. You speak out of every orifice in your body. The whole thing is bullshit. It's illegal. And we're paying for it. Period. And you're the mayor. And you're supposed to be working for us. And saving us money. Not charging us $50 to get rid of a mattress. You know, that costs too much, though. That costs too much. You're looking for your nickels and dimes. But when it comes to covering your ass because you're afraid that if you cut them off, they won't give you a campaign contribution. That's the reality of that. That is the biggest crock of shit I have ever seen. And with that, CJ...
It makes for an interesting situation every time you watch the mayor in his interviews, because as you said, he does a lot of the CYA thing. And you brought up the fact that a letter had been sent to these private vendors. Under John Perry, letters were allegedly sent out to all the people, all the businesses that the city was picking up their private trash, based upon a resolution sent forward by Michelle Dion to the mayor. And John Perry and Michelle were working together to have private trash pickup stop. And that never happened. Instead, we got rid of John Perry. And then probably some very good reasons why they got rid of John Perry. But also, probably one of the reasons was he was trying to get rid of some of those campaign contributions by stopping picking up these people's trash. And the mayor says, well, it's not the trash that's costing us, it's the recycling. Anything that it is, it's costing us. And as Chip said, nickels and dimes. And I have it on video because I took the video of you saying, yes, we are looking for nickels and dimes. I'm sure Chip remembers that video. He remembers that meeting. See, we don't talk out of our ass, Paul. We don't do that. And we know that you get infuriated when we do present this stuff.
Well, let me say something. Here again, by his own action, he shows that he's lying through his teeth with what he just said. We said you don't have to. He said we're negotiating. You bullshit. You don't need to. And you just said it. You said that the city sent these people a letter. They didn't negotiate. They just said, listen, you're not supposed to be getting your trash picked up and your recycles picked up. Get your own vendor. And then all of a sudden it went away. Why? Keep your mouth shut, keep your head down. The political connected will get what they really want. So nothing happened. But you contradicted yourself. You took the action that was necessary, but you didn't follow it up. Because you're just like the ethics. We sent a letter to the Ethics Commission. I sent a letter to the Ethics Commission. I'm confident. Horse shit. It's patronage, and the perception should have been called up. But we know the Ethics Commission fundamentally doesn't ever rule against a politician. It's a joke. The whole thing's a joke. But that video showed, again, that Paul Coogan is a blatant liar. He lies. He never has figures. When I give a figure, I give you a figure. Here's the figures. I got some in front of me. How much did we make from 20 to 23 in the fiscal years as a rebate from our healthcare premium? $17,565,755. I didn't say it didn't cost some, didn't cost a little, it didn't cost. I gave you a number. You said, well, I don't think it costs that much for the regular trash. We weighed them. Well, how much? How much did it cost, Paul? You're the mayor. You should have those numbers on your fingertip. You should have had them in front of you. This has been an issue for years now. They sent you a resolution. You ignored it. Well, you didn't ignore it. You sent out the letter with no intention of ever enforcing it. You've expanded that list. Expanded it. I'm so tired of watching this guy lie through his teeth. Like if he was Pinocchio, his nose would be burnt off because it would have hit the moon already. And the sun. The sun is 93 million miles away. So it would already be out on the moon if every time you lied, your nose grew. So with that, CJ, I'll turn it back to you.
Well, did you see what Mr. X said? That remember, Paul said he wasn't good with numbers. Well, obviously he's not. And Mr. X again says, the fact that he would literally lie to the public like that is disgusting. Well, how do you know a politician's lying? Their lips are moving. Old joke, but very true. So it makes for an interesting time. We have people bringing up a school committee meeting or a school meeting that happened this week, and I didn't know what was going on. People are talking about it, and our viewer missed it, but they say people are talking about it. If there's anyone out there that knows of an issue that went on, please put it up on the comment section. We'll put it up on the show right away. This is not necessarily our show. It's also your show. So comments come in, we put them up there. Comments come in via email, we try to address them. We're always here to make this happen. And we try to bring you the information as fast as we can, but we meet 3 days, we air 3 days a week, so it doesn't always make it easy to get that information out as fast as possible. But it is what it is. We know what's going on in city government. The only person who didn't vote to appoint Steve Long to the Housing Authority was Joe Camara, and Michelle Dion was absent. She was sick that day. So again, as we've said before the first city council meeting, the votes were lined up by the mayor already. So now it looks like the mayor has 7 votes in his pocket, which I knew was going to happen. We said he had at least 5. Now we can see 7. And I'm surprised. Okay? Every one of those people were kissing Steve Long's ass, during the meeting. And people forget. I don't forget. Chip doesn't forget. But Sean Kadim was even kissing his ass. But Sean Kadim doesn't bring up the fact that he almost had a fist fight with him outside the city council chamber and outside government center. We remember that. Don't you, Sean? Don't you remember that? Or do you have a politician's mind? Short, limited time spans. That's not good. It's not good. It's not good for the people. It's not good for the government. We require, not that we want, not that we should have, we require you to represent us. Not when it's convenient for you, but all the time. I don't care what happens in the housing authority. I really don't. Their board is basically there to make decisions about pay raises, and they're like a small city council. I think that the way they got rid of Mary Sahadi was wrong. She had just been elected to another term as president of the Housing Authority for another year, and the Housing Authority board did that knowing that she was going to be replaced by Steve Long. Who's going to be the new president now? Jason Burns? Mr. Underhill? It'll be interesting to see. Because if they make Steve Long chairman or president, there's going to be a problem.
Well, look, we know school committee is like the North Korea. It's the hermit kingdom. We don't know what's going on. So if somebody knows what's going on, if there's something, people who, to be perfectly frank, I don't pay a lot of attention to the school committee because the school committee's worse than the council. I mean, they've had their own kingdom over there for decades since they had ed reform. I mean, they get money from the state, they get mandatory money, and everybody on a school committee is fundamentally elected there to take care of the school personnel. They sure as hell don't care about education. We see we're ranked 3, but the last ranking I saw, we were 336 out of 351 cities and towns. But if you listen to them, they never speak about that. That's a taboo subject. All they talk about is making new jobs, giving out pay raises. They don't care. So frankly, I mean, I understand that there's nothing really we can do. Statutorily, they've created that monster. Your friend, the politicians, like Paul. Paul doesn't care about you. People go, well, the tax, he doesn't give a shit. But anything he wants for his friends, he will get the money. And anything for you, screw it. Bite the bullet. Shut up and pay $50 to get rid of your mattress. Shut up and get your tax rate doubled. Shut up because I'm looking for nickels and dimes from you. From you, my friends can have millions. I don't care about you. This is the way they all are. I just saw something today. I was watching national stuff this morning because I watch national news too to see. They were talking about Florida's getting about 400,000 people a year moving to Florida because I found out that they're number one in schools and education. They have half the crime rate of most of these blue states that people are moving out of, like Massachusetts is number two now, by California. They have low taxes. That's why, and they have a higher population in New York. And they showed a video of the governor Hochul, which they're all cut from the same cloth, because they showed Hochul at his speech after she got elected, saying, "If you're a conservative, get on a bus and get out of New York. We don't want you here, because you guys worry about fiscal conservatism. You worry about the taxpayer getting a break. But in New York, you got one of the highest tax rates in the country, California. That's why people are leaving. California, number one. Massachusetts is now number two. They're beginning to leave this state, too. Now we're up to number two. Before, Jersey and New York and Jersey were 2 and 3. But they're all leaving those states for Florida, Texas, Tennessee, South Carolina, all places with low taxes, where actually the people are considered. So when he talks this stuff, it's just, everything he says is political rhetoric, because he never has a number. He loves to generalize when it's talking about how much money you're going to pay. Remember, the greatest generalization he ever made, and it was not really a generalization, it was a specific, that now we would have to call a generalization, when he said how much you were going to pay on the Durfee debt override. And now, mysteriously, they've added 1.6 million to the number he guaranteed that you were going to pay. Maybe that's why he got rid of Mary Sahadi over there too, because she was the one that gave the number. 1.6 million added. Not a peep about that though. Not a peep about that. He loves to spend our money and give it to people who don't need it. And he doesn't care if you're looking at losing your house. He doesn't care if you can't afford your rent. He just doesn't care. When are you going to get it? And 40,000 people who couldn't get off their lazy asses to go vote, it's your fault. Because I didn't vote for him. I didn't vote for virtually anybody. That was the fastest ballot in history. I made one check mark for city council, and you all know who that was for. The only person who earned my vote. And I didn't vote for Paul either, so I made 2 check marks of dots. No, it's not a check mark, dots. 2 dots on my ballot, and I was out of there. But if you don't take control of your own government, it takes control of you. Remember, these clowns keep telling you how much they're going to give you. But remember what Thomas Jefferson said, and I'm paraphrasing now because you know I love quotes, but this might not be verbatim. When a government becomes large enough to give you everything you want, it's big enough to take everything you have. And that's exactly what they're doing. And with that, back to you.
That quote is very telling. It really is. But you know, one of the things that we've got to really look at is the fact that we don't remember our history. We're reliving this again. And that's a problem. You can't remember your history. You can't remember what happens. For 40 plus years, we heard that Fall River's waterfront is a gem, And we need to develop it. We need to explore it. How are we developing it? We're putting housing on it. That's developing it. The waterfront should be like in New Bedford, where they go down to the beach, they lie down, they have fun in the summer, they utilize it. But again, we don't see that. And it's very interesting that these developments for the waterfront are for his friends. Because remember, his friends are bankers, lawyers, developers. And that says a lot. And that's the problem. We need to be sure that our government is doing what we want, not what they want. We have an advocate in the city council, 1 out of 9. That's it, 1 out of 9. That's what we have. Okay, Mr. X said, what's Linda Pereira going to do about it? I'd like to know what she's going to do about it. And remember, all you people who are renters who didn't vote, you're blaming your landlord for raising your rent. They have to raise the rent. The taxes are killing them. The insurance is killing them. And it would be a lovely world if we could have free housing for everybody, but we can't. Hell, in Fall River, you can't even get affordable housing because Paul doesn't support that. It's time for a change. You had an opportunity at the last election to make significant changes in Fall River. You hear Paul talking about the ARPA money, which is gone. It's gone. $88 million. $88 million. Gone. Gone. Can you justify that? Are you getting anything out of that $88 million? Are you getting any benefits? No, we're not. And Paul says, oh, well, I gave $13 million to the water department. Big deal. They need more than that. How about taking a little bit of that money like Providence, New Bedford, Taunton did for affordable housing? How about remembering the people? It's time to remember the people. Those people that put you in office, Paul. Those people that put the city council in office. Especially the airhead Laura Jean Stampson. How you could put her back. When she was so low in the primaries, I thought for sure she was gone, which would have been a benefit to the people. She speaks like a talking head. That's it. Doesn't know what she's talking about. She has no idea what she's talking about, how to justify what she's talking about, and it scares the hell out of me. It scares the hell out of me that you would elect such a moron to office. You did the same thing in the school committee with Mimi Larrabee. So, hey, it seems that morons can get elected. Maybe that's why I never got elected to office. I wasn't a moron.
Well, let me look. When 14,000 people control a city of over 90,000 with, well, depending on what you're looking at, state or their numbers, with well over 50,000 voters, registered voters. This is what you get. This is what you get. You keep, if you're registered to vote and don't vote, this is what happens. You've got the minority, and those are the rich minorities. Those are the people who got the pay raises. Those are the people whose friends and relatives got jobs. Those are the people who got zoning variances. Those are the people who got and keep getting. They're going to vote. They don't care if this mayor sucks. They don't care if this council sucks. They're getting what they want. They're not, and most of those people, not, well, most, all, here's my tax, there was my preliminary and my regular tax bill. It doubled. I think the entire financial team, the assessor, everybody in the assessor's office should be fired. I have my preliminary tax assessment, and now I get double the bill when I get the real bill. Without warning. Double. More than double, actually. It's more than double. Slightly more than double. Actually, it's like 100.07%, because I do have numbers, unlike Paul. So this is what you get when you allow the special interest groups to run your city, to elect the people who are going to take care of them. The people only can survive if they elect people whose platform is clear. I am your agent and your substitute. I am here to represent you and your interests, and I'm here for you, the taxpayer. I feel the obligation to only spend money that is necessary. The government is not an employment agency. And as far as the waterfront, CJ, good point. The jewel. Listen, years ago we were complaining they should have used it. They should have made it into a deep water. We got a deep water port here, one of the best around. But if you look over at New Bedford, oh, it's apples and oranges. He said apples. No, it's not apples and oranges. Okay? In your case, it's apples and kumquats. Because New Bedford has a real mayor. Committed to affordable housing, put another $5.4 million into affordable housing. Committed to raise the retirees' COLA. Created what? On an already working waterfront with their fishing industry, which is legendary. They brought in containerized shipping. Not like Providence does, but they brought it in. Why? Because it generates money. Yeah, you're right, Mr. X. They are they have just blown us away. Years ago, everybody used to be, Fall River's a lot, we're a lot better than New Bedford. No, not anymore. You got somebody over there that they brought in containerized shipping. That not only creates jobs, and believe me, if you ever went down and see what longshoremen make, and see what people who unload those boats make, there'd be a lot of people standing in line to get those jobs. But they develop a diversified, multifaceted waterfront. And as you said, CJ, the only damn thing we're developing it by what? Building apartments? And they're going to throw in a few businesses that are controlled by the people who are building the apartments and already own the land there. So, you look at, they've been trying to do this for 40 years, they finally got it, and it all gets down to one thing. Get out to vote in the next election. We're not going to be voting for mayor, we're not going to be voting for council, but start trying to find your new polling places, which they changed intentionally, I think. And I may be a conspiracy theorist to a degree. Why would you take polling places away from the elderly? Polling places.
The people who vote.
Huh?
The people who vote.
Who always vote.
That's right.
Exactly. Now you're going to make them walk a half a mile or take a Uber to go vote? Oh no, we can get absentee ballots, and we all know how absentee ballots can be manipulated. We've seen it in a lot of elections. I just saw a couple of videos in Connecticut. Somebody that was ballot stuffing 2 elections ago, they caught her again, stuffing ballots outside the city hall, where she worked, by the way, as the mayor's assistant. Stuffing the ballot boxes for the mayor. This is what you got. They love, like I said, look, maybe I'm too old school, but I don't think that's possible. As far as I'm concerned, unless you have a physical disability, election day should be a national holiday. Everybody goes to the polls that can get to the poll. No absentee ballot because you're too lazy to go vote. Voting should be on one day. You should have to have an ID to prove who the hell you are, so dead people don't vote like Mayor Daley used to do in Chicago, and they're still doing it today. People don't vote in 3 different states like they did in the last election. They caught a few of those people. Election should be, and asking for an ID is not some kind of voter suppression, racist thing. It's like, okay, just prove who you are. You're going to vote as a registered voter? Well, prove who you are. And it's not like it costs you money. You can go down and get an ID. Cities just say, well, you don't have a driver's license. You don't. Well, come down to the city hall, proof. We'll give you an ID to vote. And this is the whole problem. The whole problem is, listen, this isn't about getting the best people to represent us in government anymore. It's about the powerful keeping their power. And they will do anything. Fix elections, do whatever it takes, lie, cheat, steal, to stay in office. And with that, I'm going to turn it back to you, CJ, because the only people that can cure this problem are the people themselves.
I agree with you there. Monday is Martin Luther King Day. It's a day of community service. As much as I hate to say this, Bristol Community College has their annual Martin Luther King Jr. breakfast. But it is an event. It starts at 8:30 in the morning in G Building, which is the Student Center building. If you want to attend, the breakfast is free. You got to listen to politicians like Paul Coogan shoot his mouth off because Laura Douglas wants to kiss his ass as well, I guess. I don't know. But that's what happens. We are going to air on Monday. So make sure you're here to watch us on Monday morning, 10 a.m., as we always do. Remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. I will see you on Monday. Have a great weekend, and watch out for the rain.